Probability is the chances of occurrence of an event. So if generally speaking, that what is probability? So remember this, probability is the chances of occurrence of an event, okay, whether this event will occur or not, or what are the percentage of the chances of occurrence. For example, if generally speaking, if somebody asks you that what are the chances that today it will rain, what is probability? So remember this, probability is the chances of occurrence of an event, that whether an event will occur or not. Like I gave you the example that if you are going to guess that whether it will rain or not, so you may say that there are 50% chances. So probability whether it will rain. So I am representing P for probability and probability of rain. Say you say that the probability of rain is 60%. If it is cloudy, you are saying that the probability of rain is 60%. So what are the probability that, what is the probability that it will not rain? Not rain. 40%. Okay. Probability of not rain is 40%. If we are only discussing two things, that whether it will rain or it will not rain, if we are talking about only these two things, so it will rain 60%, not rain 40%, that's it. So remember this, the sum of the probability must be 100%. The sum of the probability of the total probability in a given problem is 100%. It must be remembered. If we are going to sum up these two, it must come 100%. And what is the meaning of 100%? Do you know? 100% is equal to 1. How 100% is equal to 1? Can anybody tell me that how 100% is equal to 1? 100 over 100, because you know that 100 over 100, percent mean out of 100. 100% is equal to 1. So remember this, that the total probability, if you are taking the probability in percent, so this must be equal to 100%, and I told you that 100% is equal to 1. We can also write it like 0.6 if you are writing in fraction, and this is 0.4. If you are going to add up these two, again you can see that 6 plus 4 is 10 and 0 carried 1 and 1. So the sum of the total probability must be equal to 1. Clear? So sample space. What is sample space? That a sample space is the collection of all the possible outcomes of probability experiment. Whatever the probability experiment you are doing. So what are the possible outcomes over there? So these possible outcomes are called sample space. Okay. For example, if you are conducting an experiment on a coin, what are the possible outcomes if we are tossing a coin? Head and tail. So in the case of coin, if you are going to toss a coin, so the possible outcomes in the case of the coin are only head or tail. You must remember that I am talking about a fair coin. I am talking about a fair coin. Whenever we are talking about the probability of a coin, we talk about the fair coin, it is a fair coin. Fair coin means it is not biased. You must be aware that if you are going to toss this coin, there are 50% chances of head and tail. Okay? So in the case of tossing a coin, the possible outcomes are head or tail. If you are rolling a die, what are the possible outcomes? So rolling a die, you can see that possible outcomes. So the sample space for rolling a die are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So this is the sample space for rolling a die, if it is a fair, if it is not biased. Clear? So this is the example of sample space. In the same way, let us consider another example of the sample space. For example, you have a circular wheel like this. On this wheel, you are writing A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. So when you will rotate this, what will happen? After rotating this wheel, you are going to find out that which alphabet will come. So what is the sample space here? Alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. So this is the sample space in the case of this. Okay. So these are the three examples which I have given you for sample space. Now what is event? So event, the favorable outcome. For example, if you are going to discuss that, like I gave you the example that whether it will rain or it will not rain, you are talking about discussing the whether it will rain. So favorable outcome is rain, so you are going to find out the probability of rain. In the same way, if you are going to toss a coin, whether head or tail will come, if you are going to check that whether head come or tail will come, so its probability will be 50%, because if it is not a coin which is not a biased coin, it is a fair coin. So we will have to see that whether head or tail will come. So probability of head or tail, you are going to find out probability of head is equal to how much? 1 over 2, because the total possible outcomes are, number of outcomes are 2. So whether it will head or tail come, 1 over 2, 1 out of 2. In the same way, another example of event, you are going to find out, if you are rolling a die, you are going to find out whether a prime number comes. Probability of prime number. You can see that here there are 3 prime numbers, okay? 2, 3 and 5. 1 is not a prime number, remember this? So here in this case we are going to discuss the event, that the probability of a prime number while rolling a die. Okay. So we see that total possible outcomes are these, the total possible outcome. If we are going to say that this sample space number of outcomes, this N stands for the number of outcomes. Number of outcomes in this S, say this, I am talking about this S, is equal to 6, because there are 6 elements in it. Number of outcomes, okay. So total number of outcomes will be in the denominator, 3 over 6. Okay. Here you can see that this is a circular wheel. First of all, we have to see that what is the sample space in this case. The sample space, say S is the sample space. So what is sample space in this experiment? ABC, because the possible outcomes are A, B or C. Okay. You are not going to repeat element that how many times A is written, so as many times you will have to write down A or B or C, etc. But you will have to write down what are the main alphabets which are used here. Okay. So ABC. So this is the sample space. Now you will have to see that if I am talking about an event in which you are going to find out that the probability of A, what is the probability of A? 3 over 8. Probability of B. Okay. First of all, write down 4 over 8. After simplifying this, 1 over 2. Okay. In the same way, the probability of C, 1 over 8, 1 over 8. Okay. Now from this you can see that here I have discussed 3 events. First event, the probability of A, second probability of B, third the probability of occurrence of C. So these are 3 different events which we have made here. So what do you think, that if we are going to add up these 3, what should it come? 1. So let us see, as I told you that probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C, this must be equal to 1. Let us check it. Probability of A is 3 over 8. Probability of B Whether you can write down 4 over 8 or 1 by 2, it's up to you. I am writing 4 over 8, so that already the LCM is the same, and 1 over 8. I am not going to write down in the simplified form. Now, the denominator is the same. 3 plus 4 plus 1 gives you 8 over 8, which is equal to 1. So, in this experiment, you can see that the total sum of all the probabilities of the events in this experiment is 1. An event is a subset of a sample space. In this experiment, I am considering two teams, team A and team B. Probability of A wins is 30%, probability of B wins is 45%. So, what should be third? Draw. So, how you are going to find out draw? 100 minus 45 minus 30. How much? 25. 25%. So, in this way you can find out the remaining probability if the third event is also given. Okay. So, probability may be 0, it means there are no chances of occurrence. For example, you say that a camel is flying. Let us have the example of probability 100%. 100% probability. I have two black markers, okay, in this bag. I am putting my hand in the bag, and I am going to find out that if I am picking out one marker, that what is the probability that black marker will come? 100. He says 50. I place two black markers in this bag, that I am picking up one black marker out of this bag, that what is the probability that black marker will come? 100%, because both the markers are black. Whether I am taking out this or this, both are black markers. So, the probability of picking up a black marker from this bag is 100%. So, this is an example of 100% probability. Okay. So, if I am placing another third marker, one is blue marker and two are black markers here. I am putting these three markers in the bag. Now, I am putting my hand in the bag and I am picking out a marker. So, what is the probability a black marker will come? 75%? How you will calculate? Now, G, I am picking out a marker from this, because I told you that I have three markers, two black markers and one blue marker. Okay, I am putting these in this bag and I am going to pick one marker. So, the probability of picking up a black marker is 2 by 3. Okay. Probability of black is equal to 2 by 3, because there are total 3 markers in it. And probability of blue 1 over 3. And the sum of these two, 2 by 3 plus 1 over 3 gives you 3 by 3 is equal to 1. Okay. So, in this way we can find out the sum of the probability must be equal to 1. Clear?